Good afternoon, good morning, students. Actually, my mind is today little bit disturbed. Good morning, and today this chapter is little bit lengthy chapter. So I am thinking that up to food poisoning, then another one day more for the leftover. Then we will go to exercise. Okay, so from this commercial use already and medicinal use of microorganism already I have discussed, and Edward Jenner who discovered the vaccine for smallpox, that is also I have already discussed. Only I am starting from page number 21. In your childhood you must have, please open NCERT book page number 21. In your childhood you must have seen that given injection to you to protect yourself against several diseases. Can you prepare a list of these diseases? You may take help from your parents because from the day of your birth, that means around the birth you have taken BCG, then there are so many vaccine you have been given, so that record it must be with your parents. So make a list of the vaccine what you have taken, what you have been given. It is essential to protect all children against the diseases. Necessary vaccines are available in the nearby hospitals. You might have been seen the advertisement on TV and newspaper regarding the protection of child against polio under the Pulse Polio program. Under the Pulse Polio, there are so many advertisements regarding this Pulse Polio. Polio drops given to children are actually a vaccine. And before fixing and after fixing the date of pulse polio throughout India, through the date repeatedly on advertisement on TV and in newspaper also, it's given that which day has been fixed for next pulse polio vaccine. It is nothing but a drop, polio drop, and it is given to children as actual vaccine of polio. A worldwide campaign against smallpox has finally led to its eradication from most part of the world. So, a worldwide campaign against the smallpox has been finally led to eradication. Already it has been eradicated smallpox. You can't hear smallpox, only chicken pox you can hear. And its effect is this the smallpox, and it is more furious, and there are so many decreasing rate in when the vaccine is not uh, um, commercially distributed in all over the country, but now it has been eradicated by after the vaccine has been discovered. And who discovered? Edward Jenner. Now there you can't hear the patient suffering from very rare suffered from smallpox. And these days vaccine are made on a large scale from microorganisms. So in this case also for making vaccine, we are taking help of microorganisms, not all microorganisms, few microorganisms, to protect humans and other animals from several diseases. So these days vaccine are made from made on a large scale from microorganisms to protect humans and other animals from several diseases. I think up to this it is clear. So again, if we get time, we will revise again, so that you are ready to give answer in MCQ question. Increasing soil, but do you know, I have seen some students, their scoring of science is very poor, 2, 3, 5, few students. That means they are not paying attention, not concentrating in this live broadcasting class. But what to do, you have to be promoted to class 9 so that you can go to Asansol, our that branch, and registered your name. But if you don't want, if you want to repeat, then stay in class 8. You have to give few times. You are at home, you are getting 24 hours, and in these 24 hours you make the slot. What you will do when you will sit for studying? Why not? It is very poor marks, only few students they score 2, 3, 4. That means even if you are regular in your the live camera class, I think there is no difficulty of scoring at least 10 marks out of 20. You are either you are not paying attention, or you are not following your teacher while teaching. So what to do? You have to read. If you are not interested in reading, then when we are sending so many questions, the MCQ question I have already sent to you before PT1 exam. So why not you have practiced? I think if you practice, if you had practiced, so you can answer at least out of six, at least four questions. And that means you have not read and you have not paid attention in this live class. So what your parents will do? You are not too small. You are not too small that all the time your parents will watch. They have some they have some work. Not all the time they will sit beside you and watch that whether you are studying or not. You have to be serious. And what teaching you are getting from us, all the subject teacher, not me, that is more than enough. And we are ready to serve you. If you send me through WhatsApp, message through WhatsApp, that we are not following, this is our difficulty, see, you wait and see. We'll send the answer. Whatever may be the subject. If you find problem in math, you can send your Banerjee sir, Soman sir, and me also. In physics also, chemistry also. You can send me the text that these are the difficulties we are suffering. So I can teach you. Instead of bio, I can teach you physics. Instead of bio, I can teach you chemistry, even mathematics also. Let me know. If you are keeping mom, you are not sending message, then how can I understand that you are not following me? We are ready, and please try to concentrate only this half an hour with your subject teacher. Out of 36 or 38 students, I have seen the date sheet that of your marks. 10 to 12 students, their scoring is very poor. 4 out of 24, 3. Is this a number? We are also feeling depressed. That why this type of low scoring. And you are not wasting time for coming to school and staying for 5.5 hours. You are fully 24 hours you are staying at home. So please make some time for your study. Again, in the month of September, you have to appear for midterm exam, and I think that in this midterm exam you have to give MCQ, objective question, and also marks allotted, 2 marks allotting question also we can direct. That in any in some question will come. In that question you have to write at least 2 sentences for 2 marks. For that you have to by heart some answers related to question in your exercise, and for this you have to read the chapter thoroughly. And this is, I think, a little bit lengthy chapter, microorganism, prints and po, otherwise cell. Then in this tissue, I don't know actually the syllabus, but I think for midterm you have in biology friend and foe, and the cell. I don't know the cell will be included or not, but this microorganism, friend and foe, it is a lengthy chapter. And though it is lengthy, if you read several times daily, at least one time, so you can remember who discovered and what is this, and write one character of algae, write one character of bacteria. How many times I will recap? So you have to read nicely, and if you want a short note, I can send you, plus let me know through WhatsApp. Will you want or not? Otherwise, go on underlining the lines. Some increasing soil fertility, some bacteria, rhizobium bacteria, then blue green algae, their function is to fix insoluble nitrogen present in the air to soluble nitrogen, so that it can be absorbed through water in the soil, and the function of the root to send these nitrates, that means the when nitrogen, after fixing nitrogen, when it mixes with water, it forms nitrates, so that the root can absorb these nitrates in soluble form of nitrogen into the stem, and by the upward movement, the stems can supply this nitrogen to the other parts of the plant, so that protein can be prepared. You know that other than carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, nitrogen also required for making protein, and it is very much essential for all the living organism. Why? It helps in in growth and development of the tissues. And also, you know the meaning of tissue, because you know that all the living organisms are made up of cells, and some few specialized cell group together, similar in structure, group together to form an organ. And the function, the example of the organ, you also know that lungs, heart, kidney, all are the names of the organs who have special function. That means the function of the lungs to take in oxygen from the breathe in air, then heart to pump the blood, then kidney to excrete out the undigested food. So all these are the functions performed by the organs. Some bacteria are able to fix nitrogen, because why not from the air, just like carbon dioxide? Because the nitrogen present in the air, it is insoluble, so it is difficult for the plant to take nitrogen from the air. That is why some bacteria, rhizobium and blue green algae, its function is to fix nitrogen from the air into soluble form. And this nitrogen in soluble form is called nitrates. Nitrates and to fix nitrogen from the atmosphere, and it also enrich the soil, because you know that plants, the main nutrients is nitrogen, potassium, and nitrogen, phosphate and potassium. Nitrogen, NPK, nitrogen, phosphate and potassium. So after fixing nitrogen, plants also take through root and then stem, and also the function of the nitrogen to enrich the soil. So to enrich the soil with nitrogen and increase its fertility. These microbes are commonly called biological nitrogen fixer. These microbes, this blue-green algae and this rhizobium, are also called, underline these microbes. What are the microbes? That my blue-green algae and rhizobium bacteria are also commonly called biological nitrogen fixers. Biological nitrogen fixers. So it can come. Write two example of biological nitrogen fixers. You have to write blue green algae and rhizobium bacteria. Cleaning the environment. And you know that bacteria, though they are plant like, but they have no chlorophyll, and the cell wall is devoid. That means cell wall is not made up of cellulose. Cellulose is the insoluble starch. Ujo and Pali had, as I observed, the school gardener making manure. Manure means from cow dung, that means organic. It is not the commercial form of manure, that means fertilizer. Along with their friends, they collected waste of plants, humus, waste of plants, vegetables, and fruits from nearby houses and gardens. There are two types of manure, that manure from cow dung and fertilizer. It is commercially made. They put them in a pit. Pit means, suppose you have a garden. If you have a garden, then make dig the soil and make a pit, and in the pit you please put all the kitchen garbage, all the kitchen waste, peeling of the vegetables, then waste food, but not through plastic, not through plastic, meant for waste disposal. After some time, it is decomposed and got converted to manure. After few days, it is decomposed and got converted into manure. Bujo and Pali wanted to know how this had happened. How? Do you find any difference in the contents of two pots? If so, what is the difference? You will find that the plant waste in a pot A have been decomposed. How did this happen? The plant waste has been converted into manure by the action of microbes. Here also we are getting help from microbes. Underline, the nutrients released in the process can be used by the plant again. The nutrients released in this process after the decomposition of the waste of the kitchen garbage in the process can be used by the plant again. Did you notice that in the pot B, the polythene bags, empty glasses, bottles, and broken toy parts did not undergo any change? The microbes could not act on them and convert them into manure. And the microbes do not act them because they can't feed. They first they secrete digestive juices, and they make it into simpler, harmless forms so that they can feed on. And this, instead of only in green dustbin, but in blue dustbin, here, and supplied by mostly supplied by now at present, mostly supplied by the municipality corporation. Two color bins, one is green, that means in which the decomposer, that means microbes, can decompose the kitchen waste and turns into manure. But in blue green, and where you are throwing these polythene bags, empty glasses, bottles, and broken toys parts, will not go any change. That means in blue dustbin, you often see large amount of dead organic matter in the form of decaying plants and sometimes dead animals on the ground. You must have seen, and that is called humus. You find that they disappear after some time. How? As because this is because the microorganisms decompose dead organic waste of plants and animals, converting them into simple substances. Not only simple, harmless, these substances are again used by other plant and animals. Thus microorganism can be used to degrade the harmful and smelly substances and thereby clear up the environments. So read and reread this last para so that you can answer if question will come, how the decomposers. Give two examples of decomposers. And again, you see, a question may come that how they decomposed, how the microbes decompose the dead and decay matter of plants and animals. Microorganism decompose dead waste or organic waste of plants and animals, converting them into simple harmless substances. These substances are again used by plants and animals. Thus, microorganisms can be used to degrade the harmful and smelly substances and thereby clear up the, thus in this way they clear the environment. Harmful microorganisms, all these are helpful, that means they act as a friend of us. Now microorganisms which are harmful, microorganisms are harmful in many ways. Microorganisms are harmful in many ways. Some of the microorganisms cause diseases, already I have discussed, in human being, plants and animals. So some of the microorganisms underlying causes diseases in human being, plants and animals. Some disease causing microorganisms are called pathogens. Underlying the disease causing micro, already last class I have discussed, disease causing microorganisms are called pathogens. Some microorganisms spoil food, clothing and leather. Some microorganisms also spoil food, clothing and leather. Let us discuss disease causing microorganism in human. Pathogens enter our body through air we breathe, the water we drink, or the food we eat. How the pathogen enter in our body? In our body through air we breathe, then the water we drink, or the food we eat. They can also get transmitted by direct contact with an infected person, with an in, but direct contact. That is why in this pandemic situation, we are advised to wear mask, and also so that it can cover nose and mouth, understand, and for covering for protecting our eyes. And now the covering goggles are now available in the market, and wearing head shield for the protection of our head, so that the so that the person who are suffering, maybe through droplets, it can be arrested if we take all these preventive measure. Addition to that, several times you have to sanitize your hands also by hand sanitizer. If you are going out in a public place, you can take sanitize, you have to take sanitizer apart from this mask, head shield, whatever precautionary measures you are wearing. And in addition, you have to take hand sanitizer. So if you get touch with anybody, or in metal door, or you see in the lift, you immediately rub that place, that surface of the skin with the hand sanitizer. If you are, suppose you don't know that the regarding the car of the hire car, so you please take one ethanol sprayer in your bag. When you are getting inside the car, you can spray the handle and the seat by this ethanol spray. There are so many sanitizing medicines are available in the market. And you can come to know that fumigation, that means in large scale, and in, suppose in shop, in some restaurant, they are using, they are fumigating. And that means, what is present here, bleaching powder. It is it mixes with, in right proportion with water, that means sodium hypochlorite in the form of fumigate. They are we are we are making, we are sanitizing our inside room also. So you see, we are suffering from this ongoing pandemic situation, and the name of the virus is coronavirus. So pathogens enter our body through air we breathe, and it is not confirmed that it is airborne. It is through these droplets, the water we drink, or the food we eat. And no, all these are not the effect of this, on the way of means of infecting of coronavirus. They can also get transmitted by direct contact with an infected person through droplets, or carried by an animal. microbial diseases that can be spread from an infected person to a healthy person through air, water, food, or physical contacts are called communicable diseases. Very, very important. Communicable diseases. How diseases are communicated from the infected person to the healthy person? Microbial diseases that can spread from an infected person to a healthy person through air, water, food, or physical contact are called communicable diseases. Example of such diseases are cholera, common cold, it is viral, chicken pox, and tuberculosis. When a person, so some communicable diseases, if it comes, write four example of communicable diseases. So you write cholera, common cold, chicken pox, and tuberculosis. What is called communicable diseases? So when you see microbial diseases that can be spread from an infected person to a healthy person through air, water, food, or physical contact are called communicable diseases. When a person suffering from common cold sneezes, and from nose and from mouth can droplets will come, fine droplets of moisture carrying thousands of viruses are spread in the air. Through droplets carrying thousands of viruses are spread in the air. This virus may enter the body of a healthy person while breathing and cause infection. How these droplets help for causing infection? You see, when a person suffering from common cold sneezes, fine droplets of moisture carrying thousands of after sneezing, these droplets of moisture carrying thousands of viruses are spread in the air from the infected person. These virus may enter the body of a healthy person while breathing and cause infection. There are some insects and animals which acts as carrier of disease causing microbes. You already know, and let me discuss, then I will explain. There are some insects, underline, and animals which act as carrier of disease causing microbes. Housefly is one of such carrier. Housefly, very dirty fly. A housefly is one such carrier. The fly, so you have to cover all the time by some net or by plates your food, so that housefly cannot sit on the food, because it is one such carrier. The flies sit on the garbage and animal excreta. Pathogens stick to their bodies. When these flies, how it spread? When these flies sit on uncovered food, they may transfer the pathogens. This way, they are housefly transferring the pathogen on the food. You see, you can't see if it is uncovered, then sometimes you can see before that it sits on the food, and already the pathogens, that means the garbage and animal excreta which has been already sticked in their legs, they will sit on an uncovered food and they may transfer the pathogens. Whoever eats this contaminated food, whoever eats this contaminated food is likely to get sick. So it is advisable to always keep food covered. So we are always advising, doctors are always advising, don't keep your food uncovered always. It should be covered. Avoid consuming uncovered item of food. If you once you see that the flies on the food, you please don't eat that item. Another example of carrier is female Anopheles mosquito, which carries the parasite of malaria, Plasmodium. The parasite of malaria is called parasite. Example already I have discussed that euglena, amoeba, plasmodium vivax, all are the examples of parasite. And one of the malarial parasite plus anopheles, female anopheles mosquito, also called plasmodium, which carries the parasite of malaria. Female Aedes mosquito acts as a carrier of dengue virus. How can we control the spread of malaria and dengue? All mosquito breed in water. Hence, one should not let water collect anywhere in cooler, tires, flower pots, etc. So, in this, generally we are when we are keeping a bouquet inside a flower vase, we are giving water. So please don't use water in the flower vase. In tire also, in that uh, say the inside the tire, you see there is a groove. So inside the groove you have to watch that there must be not a single drop of water, as because you know that mosquito breeds in water. And coolers also, by keeping the surrounding clean and dry, we can prevent mosquito from breeding. Try to make a list of measures which help to avoid the spread of malaria. So please, and inside the, you see, tender coconut, that means inside, after eating the water from the tender coconut, please don't throw outside. You please throw it in the covered dustbin, and so that water, maybe due to rain, it enters into the empty tender coconut, and mosquito, there will be the chances of breeding of mosquito. So all mosquito breed in water, hence one should not let water collect anywhere in cooler, in tires, flower pots. By keeping the surrounding clean and dry, we can prevent mosquitoes from breeding, because we know that two types of parasites, female anopheles mosquito, also called plasmodium vivax, which are the carrier of parasite of malaria, and female Aedes mosquito acts as a carrier of dengue virus. And yes, and you please by heart this two dot word, and 2.1, some common human disease caused by microorganism, very very important, very very important. So you please learn by your heart, very very important, I'm telling you. That means, you see, tuberculosis, causative microorganism, that means pathogen, bacteria, mode of transmission, air. Then preventive measures, keep the patient in complete isolation, separation. Isolation word is not new for this duration, that means 3 to 4 month duration. You are hearing that this word isolation. Keep the personal belongings of the patient away from those of the others. It is also, you are listening every day in TV, in paper, everywhere. Vaccination to be given at suitable age. Till there is not in actually every day we are hearing the rumor that today the vaccine will come into come we will get vaccine, and vaccine will come in the market, but it is, and I think another 2 to 3 months we have to wait, more than it be. So vaccination to be given in at suitable age. Then measles virus, you see, measles, chicken pox, polio, you learn by heart. Measles, chicken pox and polio are caused by virus, and the contact and mode of transmission, you see, in every case, and only chicken pox contact also. So what is the preventing measure? Keep the patient in complete isolation. You know already. Keep the personal belongings of the patient away from those of the others. Vaccination to be given at suitable age. And the virus in case of measles, chickenpox, and polio, and tuberculosis, bacteria, and through air. Then cholera, typhoid, bacteria, both are bacteria, and the means of mode of transmission or means of transmission is water in cholera, and food, and typhoid, water. Maintain personal hygiene and good sanitary habits. Consume properly cooked food and boiled drinking water. Vaccination. All are these preventive measures in case of cholera and typhoid. Then hepatitis A, virus, it is caused by virus, water, and you see drink boiled drinking water. Vaccination. Then malaria, already discussed just now. Protozoa, mosquito, and female anopheles mosquito plasmodium is the carrier of malarial disease, and the spread of malaria. And aedes mosquito, and that means it is the carrier of dengue virus. Now, some of the common diseases affecting humans, their mode of transmission, and few general methods of preventive. Here you see 2.1, that is why very, very important. At least 2 marks will come from this table. At least 2 marks. Out of, this time I don't know, maybe out of 10 in bio portion. Now, disease causing microorganisms in animal. Several microorganisms not only cause diseases in humans and plants, but also in other animals, in livestock and animals. For example, anthrax is a dangerous human and cattle disease. Anthrax, underline, is a dangerous human and cattle disease caused by a bacterium. Bacterium is the singular form of bacteria. Foot and mouth disease of cattle is caused by a virus. Foot and mouth disease of cattle. Foot and mouth disease of cattle is caused by a virus. So, the name of the dangerous disease in human and cattle is see anthrax. So don't think that microorganism causes only diseases in human being and plants. It also causes disease. It also causes diseases in animals also. Anthrax is a dangerous for human and cattle disease caused by bacterium. Foot and mouth disease of cattle is caused by virus. Disease causing microorganism in plants. Several microorganisms cause diseases in plants like wheat, rice, underline, wheat, rice, potato, sugarcane, orange, apple, and others. The diseases reduce the yield of crops, and ultimately the production is reduced if the plants like we actually, you see, when wheat is cultivated, we are telling actually it is crop. That means we are cultivating a large area. That is why it is called crop. So see, if this microorganism attacks this crop, then you can understand it will reduce the yield of the crops. And some plant, they can be controlled by use of certain chemicals. That means insecticide, pesticide, or and all these and the chemicals used to stop the growth of the microorganism which causes diseases in plant. So chemicals which kills the microbes. Plant disease, citrus canker, so caused by bacteria through air. Then rust of wheat, fungi, and mode of transmission, air and seeds. Yellow vein mosaic of bhindi, okra, that means it is caused by virus, the microorganism virus, and the means of transmission is insect. So this one also, table 2.2, you learn by heart. Now, food poisoning. I told you that up to food poisoning I will teach today. Bujoya was invited by his friend to a party and he ate a varieties of foodstuffs. On reaching home, he started vomiting and had to be taken to a hospital. The doctor said that this condition could be due to food poisoning. Food poisoning could be due to the consumption of food spoiled by some microorganisms. Microorganisms that grow on our food sometimes produces toxic substances, poisonous substances. These make the food poisonous, causing serious illness and even death also. And so it is very important so that we preserve food to prevent it from being spoiled. So we have to preserve food to prevent it from being spoiled. Food poisoning. How we preserve our food so that food poisoning will not happen, will not cause. So it is very important that we have to preserve food to prevent it from being spoiled. And next day, how to preserve food we will discuss. This much is today, and I think, hope that I can finish in the next class this chapter, and we'll go on discussing this MCQ questions and few question carrying 2 marks, then keywords, everything. So this much is for today. But one thing, dear students, you please ask your parents. I think perhaps they have seen this notice issued from the office, and that notice is what do you know? What is in the text? That if your parents, those who have not cleared these entire fees, that means readmission charges and the school tuition fee up to the month of August, and if your parents will want to avail this opportunity, yeah, and so opportunity of reduction of 1200 rupees, 1200 rupees, if they make an arrangement and clear this entire fee, including readmission fee and school tuition fee up to this month, that means August, they will get the reduction of 1200 rupees. And it's my request that you please tell your parents they must make an arrangement of paying this, of clearing this entire fees. And I want that they must avail this opportunity of getting reduction of 1200 rupees. And at the same time, I'm telling that you won't get the if your parents will not clear the entire fees up to August, then you can see the marks of PT1 exam. Even management will not allow you to sit for the midterm exam, that means half yearly, which will be held on there is more possibility that in online or in sitting also, I don't know. If the school reopen, then you have to give written exam on the half yearly midterm test. So you see, I don't want that you face this problem, and that you won't get hall ticket if you appear in a written exam, and if there is online exam of the midterm test, so you will not be allowed to sit. That is why I am requesting you that neither if your parents will not make an arrangement of clearing this entire fees, you can't see even the marks of PT1, and also you will not be allowed to sit for the midterm exam. That is why you please request your parents that they must make an arrangement and try to clear all the dues, school dues. Thank you. And this much is for today. You please tell your parents. And up to food poisoning, you please reread, and by heart 2.2 table and 2.1, and read all the Robert Koch. Not read. Robert Koch discovered the bacterium Bacillus anthracis, which causes anthrax disease. So you learn this one by heart. Then all the communicable diseases, carriers, pathogen, then harmful microorganism, how what is the process by which the microorganism cleans the environment. Then all this Edward Jenner, who discovered smallpox. Then Alexander Fleming was working on a culture of disease causing bacteria. Suddenly he found the spores of a little green mold. You know that if you keep a bread for 2 to 3 days open, you can see that grayish patch on the surface of the mold, on the surface of the bread, and that is called bread mold. the what is called fermentation, who helps for which organism helps for fermentation, antibiotics, name of the antibiotics, and these making of curd and bread, then microorganisms, and the basic classification of microorganism, where what is the habitat, what is the surroundings of microorganism. You please read several times to make it clear, so that you will get ready for answering all these MCQ questions. Thank you. Thanks a lot.